Okay, so Armored Core 6 was not nominated for Game of the Year. Now, it got nominated for Best Action Game. And holy crap, I hope it wins. Because this Game of the Year selection is horrible. I'm going to explain why. Really quick, and then I'm going to go into some reactions. But here it is. What I'm looking at right now is 2 games that deserve Game of the Year here. 2 games. Baldur's Gate 3 and Zelda. Now, I can't really say a lot about Alan Wake 2. I think, at the very least of what I've heard from Alan Wake 2, it is likely the best single-player game of the year. So why do we have Resident Evil 4 and Marvel Spider-Man 2 here? These are the exact same games, fundamentally. Like, they are single-player games. If you have web slinging in Resident Evil 4, congratulations. These are now the exact same game. Look, say what you want about combat and, like, how it's different and all that. Single-player games nowadays are movies. You are walking down a hallway, pressing the buttons they're telling you to press in a simulated way that, like, is always going to be the same for everybody. There is no different playthrough. It's just single-player. So you have to narrow that down. However, I have a feeling they couldn't narrow it down because what they're looking at is, oh man, it's not Marvel Spider-Man 2 that we're not nominating. It's Spider-Man we're not nominating. Oh man, it's not Resident Evil 4 we're not nominating. If we don't nominate a Resident Evil game for Game of the Year, then how are people going to either watch our show or... I don't want to say it, but these seem like advertisements. I'm not saying they're buying their way into Game of the Year. What I'm saying is these feel like the Game Awards are using Game of the Year for advertisements. They think that these IPs are going to, I don't know, be a better representation of what gaming has been this year, and that's ridiculous. That reminds me of the Disney strategy with Marvel and Star Wars. It's basically using a cookie-cutter mainstream strategy to sell a product. However, I feel like in the form of gaming, if you take away freedom from players, that's not a good game, man. Single-player games are movies. They are movies. It is oh my god. So that's crazy. Like, that's just insane to me. So nominate Alan Wake 2 because it 100% has the better story between these 2 mid games, bro. They are mid. Look, Resident Evil 4 is a remake, dude. I played that game before. I played Resident Evil 4. I bought this game, this new Resident Evil 4 game, and I've played it. I played through it twice. I did a normal playthrough, and then I did a hard mode playthrough, and then I put it down because it has it's what is it? Shallow? Marvel Spider-Man 2, probably the same thing. I want to play on PC when it comes out because I like Miles Morales, but I wouldn't pay full price for that game because I know it's a shallow game. Now, Alan Wake 2, I'm hearing good things about. It doesn't seem like it's shallow. There's some depth into the story, and that's great. But Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Resident Evil 4 are the most, like, I don't know how I'm going to explain this, but they feel like the most mid representation of what gaming was this year. Pretty much. So now Baldur's Gate 3 got this wrapped up. There's no competition here. Maybe, I don't know. Just judging how the Game of the Year going, I think The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom could possibly win this just because it's a Zelda Nintendo game and not because of the product it actually is. I clearly can take off 2 games here and put Armored Core 6 there. And dude, Super Mario, same thing. It's Mario. It's not actually the game. It's just Mario. This is not even Game of the Year. This is like marketing of the year. Like intellectual property of the year. So I don't know. I'll say it. It's corny. It's incredibly corny. Holy crap. People, have respect for yourselves, man. Just because something is like from a huge giant company doesn't mean you always have to buy it, man. You probably played Zelda or Mario before. You probably played a Resident Evil game before. The Resident Evil remakes aren't even that good, bro. This is so crazy. Oh my god. AC6 was one of my favorite games this year, but we should not be surprised at this. The writing was on the wall for these being the nominees if you've been remotely paying attention to the way the industry has reacted to them. Even RE4 being nominated shouldn't be surprising considering RE2 and FF7 Remake were nominated before. Okay. Our AC6 should at least win Best Action Game. The other nominees don't really come close. Yeah, that's why AC6 probably should have been in the Game of the Year conversation, because it's like it's so much better than every other action game this year. It should be the slot of the action game for Game of the Year, basically. But this person's still like beating around the bush of what I was talking about with franchises and how it's more about recognizing than it is about experiencing. It's pretty insane, but no, this good point. It's a good point. We really should not have been surprised, but I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. It is what it is. No big deal, to be honest. I mean, true, but 4 of these blow it out of the water with sheer recognizability and hype. It's not real hype, though, but recognizability, yes. Gotta keep in mind that a good chunk of Game of the Year is just popularity, and these games certainly have a lot more than the up-to-now niche game franchise Armored Core. Of course. Well, see, that's the thing, though. Categorizing it as popularity, I feel, is disingenuous. Not from the consumer perspective, but from the Game Awards perspective. Because they're not popular for the right reasons. It's not like, dude, they're literally setting up their shop at everybody's like vision, like it's impossible to not hear about Spider-Man or Mario or Zelda, basically. So since it's impossible to not hear about those, it's not real popularity. It's more forced popularity, I guess. It's not. It's like So it's. I don't know. It just. You're pretty much. Everyone's pretty much agreeing on the same thing here. It is a popularity contest, but I just think people need to categorize it in a little bit better. Because is it popular because people like it, or is it popular because people know about it? I absolutely love AC6, but let's be real. It's like a solid 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Okay, well, apparently that's Game of the Year worthy. It's not even the best Armored Core game. What? I don't... I don't know if I would play old Armored Core games and, feel like the game plays as pristine or accurate as the old Armored Core games, but, again, I'm saying I have not played old Armored Core games, but I'm not interested because they seem janky. It's a ton of fun, and as someone who has played nearly all the Armored Core games, it was pretty okay. So this is a what are these, like, old game purists, basically? So there's absolutely no chance he was gonna be like sold on any of these games anyway. It was pretty easy for me to pick up and play, and I put a solid 2 to 3 weeks into my life. 100%ing it. Okay. Bro, come on. 100%ing a 7.5 game. People have their own things and stuff, but I just feel like if you're 100%ing it, your opinion on it is actually a little bit higher than you are admitting. Anyway. But since then, I haven't played it, and I haven't thought about it either. Do you PvP? And this is another reason why From Software needs to flesh out their PvP modes. This is why I mention it, not even being the best AC games. There isn't a ton of replayability to it, does not PvP, and there aren't as many build options as there have been previously. Now, this could be a very good point, but, it's not very important to me, but that could be a very good point. I remember having like 50 plus different builds. I'm on like 15-ish in my garage in For Answer. I heard For Answer's really good, so maybe one day I'll play that. In this one, I have like 6. I don't think AC6 have ever had a chance at best game. Yeah, no, bullcrap. How many other 100% games, yada yada? Did you 100% Zelda or Mario or Resident Evil 4? Did you 100% Marvel Spider-Man 2, my guy? Oh my god. They're super casual games, so it's funny to think that people sit there like, oh man, Spider-Man 2, I have to 100% this. Big Spider-Man games, big Spider-Man fans, that's fine. Hardcore gamers will never say that. And I think you're kind of kidding yourself if you thought you did. If you thought it did. I don't know about kidding myself. I made some pretty good arguments for it. But yeah, I'll admit that I thought it was guaranteed to be nominated, and I'm a little surprised it wasn't. However, I am the kidding myself part has been, well, it's not actually Game of the Year awards. It's advertisement marketing year of the award, whatever. It's all about marketing and advertising and big IPs to attract people to buy stuff that they recognize. It's come on. The Game of the Year awards, bro. What is it called again? The show? It's like the game show. I don't know, man. You need to be like presented by Sony or something there. Doesn't really feel organic, does it? But still, interesting points about Armored Core specifically, but not a lot of traction, I feel like, as far as Armored Core should not be Game of the Year because I liked 4 Answer better. It's just like, man, I think you're on our team. You're just, you're having a little bit of nostalgia there. Could have a good point about the builds, though, but if you PvP'd, maybe you'd think differently about that. I honestly can't wait for this to be over. Game of the Year discussions have been so toxic the past few years. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, dude, people are being misled, but okay. I could already see the toxic sentiment. Yes, I understand. It's like every time a new game comes out, it's a Game of the Year contender. I miss the days when nobody cared and people just played the games they enjoyed instead of worrying about which one was the best. Yes! Okay, so he's right. He's right. He's 100% right. Because he's saying, I miss the days when nobody cared and people just played the games they'd enjoyed. Yes, I agree. Because when people were playing the games we enjoyed, we didn't get advertisements shoved down our throats about Spider-Man and Resident Evil games. Resident Evil games were enjoyed because they were good. You know? Instead of worrying about which one's the best, it's less about which ones were. And so what people are getting hyped up about is there are fans of these intellectual properties. Now, that's where it starts to get toxic, is when you start to be like, oh, I don't know, like, it's a huge deal and all, but when I played Resident Evil 4, it didn't really feel much as a step in gaming. It felt like it was a good Resident Evil game, but it's not like they risked anything. There's no risks. It's the same thing. We played it before. People enjoyed this game already. But if you tell people that, you know what? Like, honestly, I've never met somebody who liked Resident Evil so much they would get into a toxic conversation about it not being Game of the Year. Like, it just feels like Resident Evil fans are just like, oh, well, we didn't really expect this. Like, what? Spider-Man fans now, I can see them arguing. Yeah, Spider-Man fans can get crazy, apparently, but your game's still mid, bro. Jeez, dude. Okay, I don't want to get toxic, but still, I'm getting annoyed with the same thing this guy's annoying. Nobody's actually playing games anymore, man. All right, you know what? I'm going to do something. Now, I know Twitch numbers aren't a testament to how good a game is, yada, yada, yada. But for something like Game of the Year, let's check these Twitch numbers and see if the hype is still there. And then try to, like, convince me that it's all about real hype. It's simulated hype, man. These are advertisements. These are commercials. Okay? Okay. But, okay, let's check these numbers, and I'm going to compare it to real Game of the Years. So we're already at a perfect spot here. Game of the Year, Elden Ring, totally deserves it. 8,000 viewers, 2 years. Baldur's Gate 3 will totally deserve it. Similar. There are enough viewers here where it's like, oh wow, they have like they have people interested in their games even after it's released because they're good, deep games. Okay, so now look, let's try our best to find Resident Evil 4 and Spider-Man. Let's try our best. So far I don't see anything. Alan Wake 2. That's respectable. That's still, you know, people are likely enjoying that one. They likely want their streamer to play it. It's one of those games. That's cool. Streamer, please play Spider-Man 2 for me. I just can't imagine it, dude. I really can't. Oh, look, here's Bloodborne 1.8. 1.8. Okay. Now I'm using these metrics for interest and hype. You know, for people who are like, oh, these games are about hype. I really hope I'm like going through the right browsing thing. Look at Resident Evil Code Veronica X with 24 viewers. Way to go. That's like one of the best Resident Evil games, dude. But still, I can't find Spider-Man 2 or Resident Evil 4 here. Oh, here it is. Here's Spider-Man 2. 1.7K, bro. Nobody cares about this game. There's not a single person who cares about the game of Spider-Man 2. People care about Spider-Man, not the game. clowns, dude. Absolute clowns. That's, oh my god, wild. 1.7 for a game that came out recently is like, for a game that's game of the year? Yeah, try, bro, no. There's not a single person here who's like, all right, apparently there's 1.7 thousand people here interested in Spider-Man. But my point is, comparing them to game of the years of the past, it is a fraction. It's not even close. Armored Core is at 1.3, but, you know, that's... maybe Armored Core is closer to Spider-Man 2 than I think, but I doubt it. It's, you know, From Software, they got to hit that PvP a little bit harder, and I think it's like, boom, it's easy. I made that same point last time. It's easy game of the year if the PvP was as good as it is now on release. You know, it still needs some, you know, UI stuff and, you know, some system updates, but it is what it is. There's no PvP in Marvel Spider-Man. I'll be surprised if this game will have 500 viewers. It's Fallout 4. Was Fallout 4 game of the year? No. Fallout 4 still has more choices, but, you know, I don't want to get sidetracked, but they're similar. Which one I'm looking for now? Resident Evil 4. Yeah. I found Resident Evil Code Veronica 6 before I found 4, unless I missed it. I'll double check. It's possible I missed it. I'm gonna go a little bit longer, but it is very possible I missed it. Okay. I'm assuming I missed it. But I saw Terraria, so now I'm gonna go a little bit... Oh my god, I didn't! Dude, thank you, Terraria. Thank you for being an actual great game. Resident Evil 4. 866 viewers. What a joke, dude. Doki Doki's at 850. Doki Doki's Game of the Year material. Doki Doki has the hype. It has the popularity. The Cloud Awards. The Cloud Awards. All these are, most of the Clown Award stuff is jokes. I'm not, like, I know people, there are real people working at these award shows that are just production members and stuff. We should not be insulting those people. We are insulting the suits. We're insulting the franchises. If you want to be Game of the Year, like, maybe actually deliver Game of the Year. Can we stop this, like, little hand-holdy, like, we're, like, come on. Like, it's very hand-holdy to just let these franchises get all this simulated hype for no reason. Now, apparently, most people are on not my side, but we're all on the same page. We understand that these are about franchises, and it's about, you know, it's a commercial. Apparently, a lot of people are aware of that. This is like my first Game of the Year that I've ever really like got into, to be honest, because Elden Ring was a rap, and this one's BG3 is a rap. But geez, man, geez, I've never seen Game of the Year nominations that were just so undeserving, dude. Absolutely undeserving. Well, I guess I never seen it because I never really cared, but still though, it's likely like this every year. Somebody mentioned that it's always, wow, Starfield's at 600 viewers. Oh, they couldn't get away with that, huh? Alan Wake 2 came out of nowhere, and it was like, all right, Starfield, sorry, but Starfield, you were close to Game of the Year, even though you're actually a bad game. But that marketing, woo, those commercials, baby. You were shredding those commercials up. Those were great commercials. Oh, my God. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you had fun with my rants here. I'm moving on from this subject for the most part. If I see another point or something that I need to make a video about, I will. But, you know, this was fun for me, to be honest. I liked ranting here about something that, you know, I felt like I had a grip on. It's like, dude, these aren't, because I played these games, so it's easy for me to just be like, yeah, these are not Game of the Years, man. I'm on my third BG3 playthrough. Like, that's insane. I think I mentioned I played Resident Evil 4 twice, and, you know, I wanted to beat the hard mode for it, but that was a slug, man. I can never beat that game ever again because I'm going to be bored out of my mind. But BG3, I'm on my third playthrough, and I'm already thinking about my fourth and my fifth playthroughs. Dude, crazy. I'm seriously surprised about Starfield, though. What a failure. Holy crap.